what you all have done as a cohesive unit, and Morgan's only been in the business like a year and 1 month. What you guys have done, I hope you understand how big it is, because what you all have done in 1 year, and Virginia only like 9 months, is really almost unmatched. I mean, the only person I can think of that's even done something similar is Brittany Leggett. If you guys don't know who she is, you should definitely look her up. But I think of you guys just like how I thought of Brittany. I watched her. She had this vision as soon as she came into the business, this focus, this intensity about her. She really wanted change in her life. It's not like her life was complete in disarray like mine was when I first started. So her back was more out of life. Really wanted to have great future family. The mom has this of being a mom when she is. So it's so cool. You guys have such incredible leadership in both Morgan and Virginia, and then you guys are all really focused on this big goal for the end of the year. Just so you know, elite is such a small percentage in this business, and if and when Morgan and Virginia become elite, it's such a team effort. Like, everything in this business is team, but really any kind of rankings that you see come out, that has not as much to do with us as it has to do with what you guys are doing. So I wish Beachbody did a better job of explaining that, because it always has like our name, but I wish it had our team name, or you guys' names could all fit into that box, because it really doesn't represent what I'm doing. It has to do with what my team has done, and same thing with Morgan and Virginia. So anyway, kudos to you guys, because it says a lot. Because of where they are today, it says a lot about you. And I know, because I know this business, it's all about duplication. And if you guys are having success right now, even though it might not go up quite yet monetarily to the beginning, and when that's what I'm going to get into in a second, I want you to understand that as you build that momentum, if you stay with the same things that I taught Morgan and Morgan has taught you and Virginia has taught you, it's going to duplicate in your own business. And in a year from now, you're going to be in the exact same position they are, and you'll be having them on your team calls, or even me on your team calls, talking about you all going elite. So anyway, I'm going to get to the point of my call, which is two things. Number one, how to build momentum. And the reason why that's so important, not only just in general with Beachbody, but especially right now, is because our business has seasons, and there are really high seasons, and then there are kind of low seasons. I don't know about you guys, but August was kind of like a season for us. It was slow, and it was harder to get people to commit. And a lot of that has to do with, kids are going back to school, and summer's ending, and people are vacationing. And you'll find come January, because most of you guys are probably so new that either you were involved with Beachbody in January, but you were too new to experience the big boost that happens, or you weren't even around in January. But everyone knows that New Year's resolutions are huge, and everybody and their mom and their sister and their brother wants to do a fitness program come January. So of course, literally pretty much anyone who is a Beachbody coach who is actually putting themselves out there is going to have some type of sale. But what I've experienced over the last 4 years is it's not the people who come out of the woods in January and say, hey, join with me, join my challenge, that end up seeing the fruits of that labor. It's the ones that put in the work from September to October to November through December that have this huge growth period. I'm going to show you specific numbers in a second, because I think it's important. I don't want you to see numbers and think that, oh gosh, I could never get there, or oh, those are huge numbers, and that's like bragging. It's not. I really like to share specifics, because that's what I needed when I was first in this business. Because my first 6 months in the business, I was working my tail off, and I was making maybe $100 a week, maybe $200 a week for the first 6 months. And that was really difficult, because everything in society says instant gratification, that I should put in work and get money back immediately. And if I'm not getting that exchange, this is a scam, or that this doesn't work, or it's not for me. And that's not the truth. What's cool about this call is Steven just opened up, or he's opening up a Quiznos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a franchise. And that's what I want you guys to start to think of this as, is a franchise. You're buying into a brand. You're buying into a training system. You're buying into notoriety, and you're coming into something where you're making an investment, and you're going to use what you were given in your own personality and your own leadership, combining with that franchise, Beachbody, and then you're going to build a business off of it. But the cool thing is with Beachbody, your initiation fee for that franchise is $40. So whereas most franchisees are going to invest a lot of money, they're either going to take out some kind of loan, mortgage their house. Some people do crazy things to get these franchises, to even be able to have a well-known brand, the opportunity to have a training system in place, the opportunity to eventually grow that franchise to be something great. You guys have that opportunity for nothing, like $40. And I know $40 for some people is a chunk of money, because it was for me. I had to literally sell some clothes on eBay to be able to sign up as a coach and be able to get Shakeology. But I'm sorry, that investment was beyond what I ever thought it could be at this point. But the time I was making the $300 a week, that was keeping my lights on. And so don't get so caught up in the huge success numbers. Even focus on the small things too, the little things that you guys could be gifting people, because there is such a small fee to get into this, and it is such a great potential that can change someone's life. So I'm going to screen share real quick. Okay. Can you guys still hear me? Yes? Okay. So this is my Facebook page. It's a screenshot from 2008 and from 2010. 2008, I had 48 friends on Facebook, and you'll see if I did a post, it maybe didn't get even a single comment. If it did, it was like one. In 2010, that's when I signed up as a coach, and I had a whopping 126 friends on Facebook. And you'll see I posted something about Beachbody. It was the first time, and I got 4 likes and 2 comments. I was a new mom. I just surrendered my life to God. I just started as a coach. But I really had no one listening to me. Like, nobody thought I was going to do anything great with Beachbody. So I started at the same point as probably most of you, where I didn't have this huge network of people that all of a sudden I made this post and bam, all these people came running for me, to sell them stuff. That was just not how it was. So what I decided to do was I talked to myself for a long time on Facebook. I would add a couple people a day, and I wouldn't do it in a way that was schemy, and we're actually about to release a training on this, but I would write someone and just find someone who was a new mom like me, and I would just break conversation with them. What do new moms love to talk about? Our kids. We love talking about our kids, and if someone asked us questions about our kids, I'd answer them all day long. So I found common interest with a couple people a day. I started adding them to my Facebook. I started, as I was focusing on learning my Beachbody business and doing personal development and being a part of the product, I would just share little aha moments that I was having. And little by little, my likes started to go up. And it wasn't just over a month. It was over, the next 6 months to a year that I started to build from 126 friends to over 1,000 friends. And then from 1,000 friends to over 2,000 friends. And if you think about it, if you add 3 people a day times 30 days, that's 90 people a month. So if you're adding 90 people a month, you could be adding close to 1,000 people in a year's time, and you don't need 1,000 people to sign up. You only need a few. So when you build that funnel and you show consistency over time, you start to build something great. Now, I've been reading this amazing book, and if you want to read a book on leadership, you have got to check out this book called EntreLeadership by Dave Ramsey. This is a little configuration that he had in there. It was his theorem for the momentum theorem, and it said Fi over T multiplied by G equals M. So I'm going to go over what those things mean. F stands for focus. Focused. People tend to not be so focused in life. Like, I know before Beachbody, I was so scatterbrained all the time, thinking of a million different things I needed to do. I was never focused on one activity and making sure that I was making progress in that one activity. And I think you'll see a lot with our challengers is like, they get really pumped up right before a challenge, and they might be focused for like 1 week and then they fall off. And then there might be a coach that's like super amped for 1 month, but then like nothing, they're not seeing significant changes in their business and they fall off. And that's where you see the difference between amazing coaches and coaches that really struggle. And it's just a fine line that the ones that are doing amazing are the ones that are doing the daily things every single day. They're focused. they know that those 3 vital behaviors done over a series of, the T is time, over a series of time, is going to cause them to have results. The I is intensity, and I think of intensity as like passion. So someone who knows everything but doesn't have passion about it won't make sales. They won't have people join their business, because when they talk to someone, they might know all the facts, they might know all the right answers, but that person can tell in their voice, through text, I swear you can tell through text if someone's passionate about what they're doing. And I will tell you, I knew nothing about this business, but my gosh, I had the passion. Like, I knew I was going somewhere, and I had that feeling in my gut, and I had that passion that I was not giving up. And that's what transformed, and that's what started my momentum in business. So just to show you, a lot of people have passion, they just have it misdirected. So like, for instance, the guy who's like at the football game that's screaming at the top of his lungs, it's like painted blue, and that guy is passionate, but his passion is not doing anything in his life. It's not serving him in any way. So you just have to figure out what it is that you want and become so dang passionate about it that you're willing to do whatever it takes for however long to get there. The time, like I said, with the challengers, you have to have that focused intensity over a period of time, because it's weird how this business works. I think it was John Maxwell. No, hold on. Who is it that spoke at leadership? What's his name? I can't think of his name. Anyway.
Oh, Darren Hardy.
Darren Hardy, yes. So from the compound effect, he talks about how you'll be riding this line and you're doing all the right activities, and you and the guy who's not, you're really not seeing that big of a difference. And then all of a sudden there's this shift that happens. And I've seen it in Morgan's business, because we post these weekly trackers, and you've seen, Morgan, I know you've noticed, like her compared to some of the other leaders, she started to do this because she's doing the right activities all the time, focused intensity over a long period of time. Now it's been a year. For you guys that have been in for less than 6 months, if you stay with that focused intensity that you had in the beginning, when you had all the hopes and dreams, the same way the people before they start a program have all those hopes and dreams of where they want to go, and you just stay consistent with those things, I promise you, 100%, you will be successful. There's no doubt about it. Now, for me personally, the G is multiplied by that FI over T, focused intensity over time multiplied. For me, it's God, because I know that I am limited to what I'm capable of, and I know that if I have an unlimited God, I can create unlimited momentum. So that is my formula. That's Dave Ramsey's formula. But I realized as I read that, that is exactly what I did right. And I'm not the smartest, and I'm not, the most educated. I even spelled peace wrong in you guys' thing. I mean, I make mistakes, but I had those things, and I was willing to stick with it long enough to start to see the changes. So what I want to show you is a little graph, and this is my actual income. This was my first year, my second year, and my third year. So my first 6 months in the business, I was 6 months in. It was December 2010, and that week I made $246.95. Now, important thing to note, I literally was working 80 to 100 hours a week to make that money. And I could have gone and worked 1 bar shift. That's what I did before Beachbody, and made well over $246. But my focused intensity was there. And so I just knew if I stayed with it, it was going to start to change. Now, 3 months later, at 9 months as a coach, I was making $789 as a coach. And that was finally more than I had ever made as a bartender. So 9 months into the business, I was like, oh my gosh, I finally made a check that was larger than that of which I made as a bartender in a week's time. That's a 220% raise that I had in those 3 months. This is what happens in the beginning of the year. Because I had put in that consistent work for those 6 months prior to the start of the new year, when you have that big boost, I had all this momentum built to where I was riding that line, not changing, and then bam, it started to peak. Same thing happened. I thought maybe that was a fluke, like maybe that just was a one-time thing. Well, no, at 18 months, the same time, that same week, last week of December, I made $1,255. And 3 months later, in March of 2012, I was up to $3,471. That's a 176% raise. And so I was thinking, okay, there's probably gonna be a point where it caps off and it's gonna slow down. And then no, it like continues to build because we keep doing the actions, not only just in the great seasons where it's like, whoa, we have harvest, but in the times where you're just planting the seeds and plugging with faith that something's gonna happen. At 32 months, that next year, in December, I was at $4,557. And then 3 months later, I was at $13,645 a week. So like 200% raise, even as high as those numbers were. Because I thought, well, there's no way it's going to continue to do that. But it did. So I don't want you to be caught up in the 13,000 whatever. That's great. But a lot of you guys are probably at that first year. So you're probably at that point where you might not even be making $246. You might be at $146, or sometimes making a paycheck and sometimes not. But what I want you to get is that anyone who plugs away with focused intensity over a long enough period of time is going to have these results be possible for them. It's not just some specific person that's incredible or that has all these huge network of friends, or they have to be the face of commercials and beauty. I have seen this consistently with any of my coaches that have stayed consistent. Another example, this is the last picture I have, this is Katie Hefner. She was one of my first coaches, and this was her resolution effect. And Katie actually will admit she was like kind of an off and on coach in the beginning. And so she didn't really see a lot happening with her business. But in November 2011, she was at $200 a week. Katie signed up as a coach a year earlier. So it took her a year because she was up and down, in and out to get to 200. But in less than 6 months, she went to $1,145 because she stayed consistent, because she finally went all in and said, I'm going to stop making excuses, and regardless of the results, regardless of how many challenge packs I'm selling or points I'm getting, I'm going to focus on what I'm passionate about in this business, and I'm going to give my all. And she did for a consistent period of time and saw amazing results. So anyway, 1 second, I'm going to turn screen share. So all I want from those images to share with you is that no matter where you guys are at, the plugging away that you're doing right now is not just going to be an elite team. It's to set you up for next year. Because I promise you, if you go hard, most people are not going to. Like most people in Beachbody, they fall off the face of the planet come November. It is crazy. Like just what you experienced in August when it kind of like slowed down. That's what happens with coaches come November. Like they stop being a product to the product. They stop posting about Beachbody. They stop sharing. They stop doing challenge packs. They start assuming that people aren't interested. Let me tell you, people are interested. Not as many people, but because there's so few coaches posting out there, the ones that are posting are having just as many people become interested and join. People want to get hot for the holidays. You have to be creative, but you've got to use that time, because if you guys plug away, I promise you, you're going to see that huge boost come the new year, and you're going to be thanking yourself. You're going to be thanking Morgan for helping you to keep that momentum up during that part of the year. So it's always easy to push during the good times, but it's the ones that push throughout the times where it seems like nobody's really doing anything or you're not really moving forward. Those are the ones that end up where Morgan and Virginia are. And I know that you guys have incredible potential. So Morgan, do you have any questions or anything that you want to ask that I can help with?
I mean, no questions really. I thank you so much for talking, because all the girls on this call, I mean, me and Virginia we love them to friggin' death, and we just believe in them so much because we see what you saw in us, and they're working so hard, and I just wanted to be able to show them what the future could hold for them if they stick with it and keep working hard.
Yeah, just honestly, if you're in it for the money, it gets really stale really quick. I mean, anything that you do. But if you remember like what it was like when you first bought a challenge pack, or when you first tried the program, or when you first, lost the first 5 pounds, like remember that. And it can be so crazy because you'll start to get, like, I get emails from people saying, thank you so much. And almost you get like jaded that you don't even see them anymore. And I try to stay as focused and remember what it was like the first time I got that email, and remember what it's like to be that person that's inspired for the first time. Because a lot of people don't have people like you guys in their life, and I was one of those people. And honestly, I would do this for free. Like if everything went away, I was doing it for free for a year before I even found coaching, because I loved the fact that I made a positive impact in somebody's life, and I wasn't just serving them drinks and the people you're surrounded by in this business, don't underestimate the fact that you're bringing them into a family. You're bringing them to something that a lot of people just don't even have. And even if their end goal is not to be superstar diamond beachbody coach, this can be a vehicle to help someone achieve other dreams that they have in their life. And like I said in the beginning, the $200 to $300 a month even can change someone's life to give them a little bit more freedom to go on a date night with their husband. So just remember the impact that you have and the chance that you have to make a difference in the lives around you. And don't get so caught up in the numbers or the things that are more tangible, like a rank or, a dollar sign. Those things are all going to keep coming as long as you're doing the things that are most important, which is touching lives, reaching out to more people. And when you're reaching out to them, don't think about it as like, this person would be a great coach for me to sign up. I just think about it as like, man, this person and I have common interest, and what if I can help them in some way? I don't know what way. It might even be something non-related to Beachbody. But if I can just touch as many lives as possible, and really there's only so much time in the day, so social media is the amazing and only way I've found to do so, why not? And then if you continue with those things, you're not going to have a problem hitting elite by the end of the year, or hitting diamond by November 20th that you guys have to be diamond? Yeah. So you got to push hard now, though, because if you rest, there's dips. Anytime in momentum, if you were to slow a car down, it takes more gas to get that car going back up. You just continue to press the gas pedal. It's much easier to keep steering and driving your vehicle. So anyway, Morgan, anything else?
That's everything. I mean, gosh, we all, you should have seen us in our group. We were just, our socks were blown off with excitement when you said you'd join us, and we feel very lucky that you took some time off to do this for us. And we love our team so much, and it is upward and onward for us. And thank you for starting this big overall team, the Bombshell Dynasty. That's personally why I haven't created my own team name, because I like being part of it.
Well, the Canadian Bombshells did represent during the Team Cup.
They did. I'll have to thank Virginia for that name.
It was awesome. So you guys did amazing. But I'm so excited. November 20th, if y'all hit it, let's get on the call again, and we'll plan for the next month so we can drive into the new year. And you guys can ask any questions you want, and we will celebrate your huge win.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsay, and thank you, everybody, honestly, for taking this time out on Sunday. I appreciate it. I'm recording this, so hopefully the upload works so you can re-listen to it. And I hope everybody has an awesome night. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep tonight.
Go get it, girls. Bye. Thank you.
See you guys.